Flutter push notification, including foreground state, background state, and terminated state, and navigation on notification tab and the edge cases. By the end of this video, you will know exactly why and how to handle every app state. Let's start with the platform setup. Create the Firebase project. Once the Firebase project is completed, let's add the Android package name should be same as your package name. Go to your project, open the Android, open the app, open build gradle. Here you can see your application ID, copy it, register that, download the Google Service JSON. For now, let's skip this. Once you have Google Service.json, copy the Google Service JSON and put it inside the app folder. Open up the project level build gradle and add Google Service plugin. Go to app level build gradle, add Google Service plugin. This will activate the plugin. That completes the Android setup. Now let's run the Android and make sure there are no build errors. Okay, Android app is running without any build errors. Now let's do iOS setup. Open the iOS project in Xcode. Double click on a runner XC workspace. iOS project is open. Now let's set up the Firebase. This time go for iOS. Download the Google Service info plist file. For now, skip this. Copy the Google Service JSON file under the runner. Now click on the runner. Click on sign in capabilities. Make sure you have automatically managed sign in enabled. Click on capabilities. Add push notification. Add another capability, background modes. Now, two capabilities has been added, background mode and push notification. Inside the background mode, check background fetch and background processing. If the app is not even open, we should be able to show the notification. Now, to double check everything, click on runner's entitlement. Make sure this file exists. If this file is not added by default, you missed some step and it should have the APS environment. Now we need to generate APNs Key. Open up Apple Developer Console. Click on keys. Create a new key. You can name it FCM. And make sure inside the capability, enable the Apple push notification service. This will allow Firebase to send a notification to Apple service and then deliver it to the device. Let's configure. Let's keep the environment sandbox and production. For now, just testing purposes. Register and make sure to download this file and put it someplace safe. You won't be able to download it again. Once you generate APNs Key, now we need to add this APNs Key to our iOS app. Click on the iOS app setting, go to Cloud Message. Here inside the Apple app, there is a section for APNs authentication key. Click on Upload. For the key ID, you can see the key ID is also there on the file name. And for the team ID, you should be able to find it in Apple Developer Console. Click on Upload. Since we have the same key for developer and production, both keys is uploaded now. Let's go back to Xcode. Inside the application method, before the return, add these two lines. The first line, make sure that you receive your foreground notification so Apple doesn't silently ignore. Second line, make sure that it gets you the device token. Now that completes the iOS setup. Now let's run the iOS app to make sure everything is working. iOS app is working without any errors. Now let's continue with the Flutter side of setup. Open up the pub spec, add 3 dependency, Firebase Core, Firebase Messaging, and Flutter Local Notification. I am using Flutter Local Notification for creating and showing the notification. You can use something else if you want. Go to main.dat. First thing we need to do is initialize the Flutter binding. Let's create a method, initialize the Firebase app. Make sure you use await. Now we need to ask user for permission. Firebase message request permission. It will pop up the notification permission. Make sure here you mention why do you need the notification permission. Explain it to the user. Once we have the permission, we need to get the FCM token. Now getToken method will get the device token. Let's print the token. You need to send this token to your backend. So later on you can use this token and send a notification to users. Now let's run the Android app and see if we are getting the token or not. We can see we got the notification pop up. Here you can see we have received the FCM token. Copy the token, go to Firebase console, go to messaging, create the campaign, put the app in background, click on a send test message, use the same token and send test. You can see we have received the notification. It means our Android setup is working. For iOS setup, we need to add one extra step to get the token. In iOS, we need to fetch APNs token. Without APNs token, getToken method will not work. Wrap the APNs token with platform-specific iOS. Now let's run the app and see if we are receiving APNs token and the FCM token. Okay, we have received APNs token and the FCM token. Since I have already given the notification permission, it did not ask me. Now let's copy the FCM token, put the app in a background. We have received the iOS notification. So we are not receiving the notification when the app is in foreground. So let's set up a listener for a foreground so we can show notification when the app is open. Before moving that, I already have the notification service class that handles the initialization for Android, iOS. So I'm not going to build it step by step. The full code is linked in the description. You can just copy and drop it in your project. One thing you need to know is I have the show notification method that takes title, body, and payload, and it creates the notification and show it to the user. Now let's go to main.dat. We need to set up Firebase foreground listener. I like to do this in the root screen of your app. You can do it anywhere else you like, but the root screen is the best place. It stays alive until your app is open or terminated. Convert this to stateful, override init method. So I have created a method called listen to foreground message. It will listen to Firebase on message, and as soon as we get the notification, is sent to notification service with title, body, and payload. That will create the notification and show it to the user. Make sure when your app gets closed, you stop listening for the messages. Now let's run the app. Now let's send the notification. We are now receiving the foreground notification. You can see the status has changed to received, and we have the title and the body. Now, let's do the same for iOS. Okay, app is running. Let's send the notification. Okay, we are receiving the foreground notification. You can see title and body and the notification. Now, let's implement a background handler. Let's create a new method. On background message needs a background handler. Background handler must be a top level function, not inside any of the class. So let's create. Background handler takes the remote notification. We need to add pragma annotation. This annotation tells Dart compiler to keep this function in release bin. Let's pass the handler and let's call this method. We need to learn about the notification types here. So there are two types of notification. First, when you receive notification object in the payload, system creates the banner automatically and show it to the user. When the backend sends the data only message, system does nothing. You have to create your own notification and show it to the user. When you need some custom notification with the custom sound, custom icons, you need to use data notification. If the notification is empty, then we need to create the notification and show it to the user. Let's run the app and see if changes are working. Let's put the app in background. We have received the notification. Showing the notification is one thing, but when user taps on it, and if you want to take them to the right screen, now let's implement notification tabs. If the application is in background state, not terminated, Then if user taps on the notification, Firebase will trigger on message open data and it will give you notification payload. So you can send user to right screen. If the app is in terminated state, create a new method. getInitialMessage. If app is in terminated state and if user clicks on the notification, then getInitialMessage will return the same payload as the notification payload. Now, the third and the last state, if the app is in foreground and you receive the notification, this one is a bit different because in foreground we are already creating a notification, so we need to handle it via notification service. Notification service has an on-step stream which gives you the data when user taps on the notification. So we need to listen that. Okay, so I have created notification tab. Now we are listening all the state, foreground state, background state and terminated state. Right. Now we are receiving the message from each state, but we are still not sending user to appropriate screen. So now let's add the navigation. Let's create global navigator key. Pass this to navigator key. Using the navigator key, you can push routes. Make sure navigator key is again top level variable so you can access it from anywhere. Now let's create a new method handling the navigation for notification. Handle notification tab takes the notification payload data. Now let's pass this to foreground state. Let's pass this to background state. And lastly, let's pass to terminated state. Now, if user taps on any notification, we are getting the payload inside the notification tab. Let's send user to screen. Looking at the notification payload, we are passing screen key in a payload. So we need to extract that. We need to use navigator key to send the user to appropriate screen. Get the current state for the navigator key. Make sure it's not null. And if the screen tab is setting, then send user to setting screen. And if the screen is user, send user to the profile screen. Now let's run the app and see if all the changes are working. Create new notification. Click on next. Use the Android app. Click on next. Make sure scheduling is the now. Next, next. Now here is the important part. We need to pass notification payload here. Screen setting. Click on review and click publish. We have received the notification. Now let's click on it. Clicking on it sends user to setting screen. It means our foreground navigation is working. Put the app in background. We have received the background notification. Let's click on it. Clicking on it, it's navigating to a user screen. Our background notification navigation is also working. Now lastly, let's test termination navigation and close the app. I got the terminated notification as well. Let's click on it. Clicking on it, it sends user to setting screen. Now let's quickly test all three states in iOS as well, starting with foreground. I see the notification. Let's click on it. Clicking on it, it sends user to setting screen. Now let's test the background state. Put the app in background. Got the notification. Clicking in notification, it's navigating user's profile screen. Now lastly, let's test the terminated state. Close the app. Got the notification. Clicking on notification, it sends the user to setting screen. All three states, foreground, background and terminated state, is also working in iOS. If you want more production Flutter content like this, subscribe and drop a comment.